no Western country asked the leadership of Hamas, stop the rocket launching to the Israeli civilian populated areas. Stop. Don't start a war with Israel, because there is no chance to win this war. But the leadership of Hamas used the Palestinian population and the Israeli population, and both are suffering because of miscalculation of this leadership.
Okay, let's just weave in another perspective into all of this. There's a claim that's being made around the world, especially by Pakistan and other countries, that there are double standards at work here, especially with regards to the United States. Mr. Parthasarathy, there is another view, and India has expressed it today. They've condemned these strikes on Gaza militants. They've said that, you know, perhaps Israel is out of line and they've got backing which is not justified. What are your views on all of this?
Look, there is no comparison between this Palestinian issue and the problems we face with regard to Pakistan. There is a Middle East roadmap to peace. Now, we are friendly relations with Israel. We have a lot of sympathy and support for the Palestinians. I don't think India should be passing judgment. India should be attempting to cool tempers and bring the two sides together. The Palestinians have another problem. They are fratricidally divided between the Fatah, which was the group which backed Mr. Arafat, now under President Mahmoud Abbas, and the Hamas. There have been more shootouts between the Hamas and the supporters of Fatah than there have been with the Israelis in recent days. So I think it's important that Hamas also realize that they should follow the line laid down by their president Mahmoud Abbas and desist from attacks on Israeli civilian targets. At the same time, I think our Israeli... Just a minute, let me complete. At the same time, I think our Israeli friends should realize that as a friend, we can tell them that they are losing sympathy by what many regard as a disproportionate use of force. Now, coming to the American double standards, the Palestinians are a separate issue. It is an issue which has been in force since the setting up of Israel, and there has been a Middle East road to peace monitored by what is called as the Middle East Quartet: US, Russia, the European Union and the UN. I think India should support that process and really work with these two sides to bring them together. I am against passing judgments on others. Coming to the Americans, as I said, this is nothing to do with what the Palestinian cause is. That is separate from what is happening here. Yes, the Americans have double standards. For God's sake, after 9/11, they go and invade Afghanistan. Then when they are attacked from Pakistani territory, they send in drones. And then they give us long sermons on restraint. That's how a superpower behaves. I think we should learn to be more self-respecting and not look like a supplement. Appeal to the international community and then do what we have to do.
No, but I get your point, but there is also a lesson to be learned, isn't there, Mr. Parthasarathy, that America does business with those who use force to defend themselves and not those who always wait for America to take the first step.
No, I think I would disagree with that. America has its own interests in the Middle East. America has its own interests in South Asia. Now, I must say that given the present world situation, the Americans are putting more pressure on Pakistan than the Chinese or the Saudis are doing, who are the two powers who can influence the Pakistanis.
My point,
but beyond a point, we should go about looking after our interests, for God's sake. Why do we want to be a supplicant?
No, sure we should. My simple question, I'm asking you this, and I know Mr. Farooqi wants to come into the debate. My simple question to you is, Mr. Parthasarathy, from your experience, is you said don't compare the situation there with the situation here. Is the principal difference the nuclear factor? You take away nuclear weapons from the region.
No.
Is that the simple difference?
No, I think my Israeli friends will deny it, but they have nuclear weapons, so nuclear weapons has nothing to do with it. I don't believe that the situation here can escalate to a nuclear level. It's just a question that we lack the will and ability to act speedily when we should. And then we start weeping on other people's shoulders. Yes, we have international sympathy, we have international support, But let's not go around looking like supplicants as we are presently doing. Okay. The US, as I said, is doing more than what Pakistan's other friends like China or Saudi Arabia would do.
Right.
But in an ultimate analysis, a country of 1 billion people has to learn to stand on its own feet.
Okay.
And in the Middle East, what we have to do is to hope that Hamas will follow the lead set by President Abbas, and that the Israelis in turn would go easy on this disproportionate use of force.
Okay. This is the big international story, and the situation is really bad. Let's see if either side exercises restraint and what America does, whether it's only going to remain as a bystander if Israel continues to bludgeon into the Hamas. To all our guests in Tel Aviv and in Delhi, thank you so much for joining us.